Hello, I'm Greg Perez with today's Table Talk. And today I have Isabeau Waiu Walker with me, and I'm going to ask her a few questions. She's known in the music community and also in the school environment. And Isabeau, can you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Well, I'm originally from Wailuku, Maui, and I came up here over a decade ago for school. I am a social studies teacher, currently teaching student government and leadership at Canby High School. And I am a singer-songwriter also. Most of my music I share online through YouTube and Patreon, but I do some local gigs here and there.
I see. Now, is this something that you acquired through your family? Was this at home, or is this something you learned on your own?
Definitely through my family. I don't have any formal training apart from that. A student just asked me today, because our choir at Canby High School is pretty well known, and I had mentioned to them that I didn't even know if our schools that I grew up in had choirs. Most of this music, language, and expression came from just time spent with our family. So whether it was the writing or the performing or the creating, it all happened within the household. So definitely my family.
So I take it it's a Hawaiian background,
yeah.
Guirish.
Yeah.
Okay, and is this cultural on the islands?
The exchange of music?
Yes.
Oh, definitely. And I guess it would be fair to say that it is a huge part of the Hawaiian culture. And with that, not every local or Hawaiian family is necessarily uses music in that kind of common way that we did with expression, but it's definitely ingrained in the culture, and we just kind of put our own spin on it, I guess you could say.
Now, you said you didn't have any formal training. At what age did you start partaking and showing your wares?
Oh, man. So I guess, to be more honest, there's no formal training, but definitely intentional practice and training from my mom and dad. But my older sister was the more courageous of the two of us. So I would say early elementary years, I stepped out with more singing, but that was safe for me because it was within the family or within the church. So it was never like a solo voice where I had to be, where I felt like the attention was all on me. But I would say when I was 11 or 12, my dad has this old Martin that he would keep around the house, and I just started imitating him. And I would create, at that point, I didn't know the instrument very well at all, and I would just make up the names of different chords or chord progressions, anything that sounded great to me when they were clumped together. But yeah, I would say middle school is when I decided that what I had seen in my family, I wanted to take it from the collective setting, and I now wanted it to be also something I did independently. So my writing started there, my more intentional practice and playing started there, and those are probably the years where I cornered my parents often around the house, asking them to listen, like, what was this? Did you like this? Is this weird? Is this good? So definitely those years.
Can you explain to the audience what a Martin is? Because they may not know.
Oh, Martin guitar. I'm incredibly biased. I feel like most of the guitars that I have lusted over have been Martins, but it's just, I mean, it's a type of guitar, and they focus primarily on acoustic guitars, and they just have a beautiful tone, and they were always, it was the dream guitar for me. And my dad happened to have one, even though financially we were never in a position to purchase one. It was passed down from one of his older uncles, and it says like Buddy Brown at the top. So I mean, there's tons, the Gibsons, Taylors, all beautiful guitars, but there's something about a Martin to me that, especially his Martin, a beginner guitarist like myself in middle school, I felt like a pro when I would play that guitar. So I just have a special place in my heart for the Martin.
I was going to ask you, at what point in your life and music and teaching and everything did you feel comfortable being on stage?
Oh. I don't know if I...
Did you have butterflies?
Oh, yeah.
Were you very nervous?
Oh,
did you
absolutely.
pull your hair? What did you do?
All of it, I think, and I'm still nervous. So I think even chatting with you and knowing that I'm gonna...
Knowing that we know each other?
Knowing that we know each other, even this creates a certain amount of nervousness for me. And I think what has changed has been the clarity about whether or not I wanted to do this. So early on, definitely the butterflies, the weak knees, my face gets flush. I used to ask everyone to close their eyes, which was strange because I wanted them to listen and I really wanted to share it. I just didn't want them to look at me because I wasn't sure yet.
You know what's interesting when you said close your eyes now? Sometimes I like listening to music with my eyes closed.
Yeah.
Because for some unknown reason it draws something into my body to where I'm relaxed.
Oh man, I hope
and
that's
I can,
what they felt.
and I can really,
Yeah.
I feel different. It's like walking into a house of prayer.
Yeah, it's meditative.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's how, when I close my eyes, that's what I feel. Just gave me chills right now.
Oh, well, I'm
Yeah.
glad that I know that most of the time for me it was paired with insecurity and nervousness, but definitely I think the thought behind it was if you could just listen to this, maybe before I'm ready and confident, the music will speak for itself. 'Cause
Right.
I felt a lot more confident sharing what I felt, what I thought, what I believed from, anything through song than I did necessarily in conversation. So it was a means of communicating. So if I could just get someone to sit down, even if they had to close their
and
eyes,
listen.
I'm like, I could do that. I can start there. Yeah.
I was going to ask you another question. Was there somebody or a favorite artist that you emulate yourself from or were a mentor other than at home in your environment?
The first name that came to mind, currently I haven't heard much of her recent stuff. I actually don't even know if she's creating music anymore.
Who's that?
Her name is Jennifer Knapp.
Jennifer Knapp.
And we used to have a Borders Music and Books on Maui. They've since shut it down because everything shuts down on Maui. And someone had bought me a CD of Jennifer Knapp, and it wasn't even that she was the only artist that I liked, but it was the first time that I saw a female singer-songwriter with some grit, and her songs were, there were joyful ones, but then there were also these songs where you're like, that hurt, but it wounded you, but it was good.
You felt it.
Yeah, you felt it. So her songwriting was strong, her vocals were strong, and her command of her instrument was strong, and it wasn't just a vocalist with a backup band. So I think I was pretty starstruck with her. She was impressive to me.
Now I want to look it up.
Yeah.
Now I want to look it up and I want to
Yeah.
listen to it because you gave me two areas that I want to look at. One of my last questions before you perform for us is, do you compose your own music and how long does that take and how long have you been doing that over the years?
I wrote my first song in 6th grade, and I remember that I even have the piece of paper I wrote it on, and it's gross and ugly, and it's not fantastic. But from the counsel of my family and even songwriters that I have tried to emulate along the way, one piece of advice that I got was to not throw it away. So those little napkins with lyrics, or I have a couple notebooks that I take with me places, either intentionally to write or just in case, that whatever I put down, sometimes those immediately become songs. It'll be, most of the time it comes lyrically first for me, and then I try to create and compose music that expresses what I hope the listener will take away or feel, or something that will forge a path for these words to land. But sometimes those songs don't land right away for me. And I'll write them down and I'll be like, that was a waste. That was horrible. Or that's not what I meant. And I'll put it away. And then sometimes months later, maybe in a year, I'll be flipping through a notebook and go, oh, that's good. And then I'll tweak it some more. Or so usually, I feel like most of the time, it's lyrics first, and then I compose music for it. And I haven't often collaborated with people during that songwriting period.
To yourself?
Yeah, it's usually by myself, and I am open to the collaborations. There are definitely the times where I've tried. It's been really good. It's challenging. It's definitely challenging because you know that this other creator, this other artist has so much to offer, and those gaps and spaces where I have not figured out yet that they could speak to those places. But it's also hard to communicate that kind of idea or feeling to another person and trust it with them.
Right. Right, I understand that.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about it, so I wouldn't know what to I could entrust you with coming from me. So your parents, what do they think about this music thing that you've been doing for years now? What are their thoughts? What do they say? I know they're proud of you.
Oh, I hope so.
Oh, they are.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, I've asked them this outright because music has always felt just like another language in the family. And with that, when I started making some more intentional moves to pursue or grow in my music, I was kind of nervous because it seemed like just something so natural, and now this shift to try to find more gigs or to collaborate and write and grow or to share more music online, it felt like I was curious. I was really curious, like, what do they think about this? Because it was so commonplace to them.
Right.
At least that's what I felt like. We sang around the house, we sang in the kitchen, we sang in the car. Am I weird for saying, I want to share it with more people? But in the conversations we've had, they are really proud of me, which I'm grateful for. And I think most of it is that they know my heart behind why I'm doing the music. They both have enough of a voice in my life that if I were to be pursuing this for the wrong reasons, that I would give them space to call me out on it. So I think they're mostly proud of because they know why I'm doing it.
I think it's your calling right now. It's just, everything is all together right now with your music and teaching and so forth. It's all together. So that time will change when that happens.
Yeah.
So I'd like to ask you if you'd play a couple of songs for us.
Yeah, I'd love to.
We'd love to hear it. And a lot of people are going to hear this.
Can we all close our eyes?
Yeah,
We
not
should all
yet.
close our eyes. So this song is called It Won't Matter. I'm going to play one more song, and the song is called Trees and Their Roots.
Isabeau, that bravo, bravo, bravo. You don't know how much I wanted to jump up and start clapping and yelling for you. It was beautiful.
Thank you, Greg.
And I want to thank you for coming today on Table Talk here at CTV5. And I thank the audience for seeing this beautiful young lady perform in our community. So this is Greg, and we're going to sign off with Table Talk. And Greg Perez, I am your host. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Greg.
Isabeau Bayou Walker.
Thank you.
Bye now. Beautiful.